Now, for the last 10 months, the government has been on a promise of cutting down expenditure as part of fiscal consolidation that is sensitive to the pressing economic needs of the country. In July 2024, President William Ruto told the country that he had heard the concerns of the people, and he moved to reorganize the budget of the country and the structure of the executive. A very reflective president who told the nation that the number of government advisors would be reduced by half. And that was dutifully followed with a circular from the office of the president signed by the head of public service and chief of staff, Felix Koskei, instructing all cabinet secretaries to cause compliance with the directive. At the time, each cabinet secretary was entitled to 2 advisors, and they were to be reduced to 1. Well, it wasn't hard to comply, as a day later, the appointing authority dismissed all cabinet secretaries, and with that went the advisors, until some of the CSs were reappointed. Since then, the position of government advisor has turned into a safe landing for ex-CSs, some ex-PSs, and some ex-critics. The president's list of 7 advisors that would have been reduced to either 3 or 4, were the presidential directive to be binding, has grown into a litany of advisors. Some put it at 15, others 17, and others more than 20. It is that difficult to keep tabs with the ever-expanding opportunities whom we now learn earn salaries at the level of cabinet secretaries or principal secretaries. Now, the Constitution empowers the president to run the government and all affairs of the state. It assigns him a cabinet of up to 22 cabinet secretaries, an attorney general, a secretary to the cabinet, and of course, the deputy president, who is the principal assistant of the head of state. The CSs are the president's hands and ears in the ministries and departments. They would appear the primary advisors of the president on the various sectors. The attorney general, according to the Constitution, is the principal legal advisor to the government. A government led by the president, meaning to say that the AG is the principal source of legal counsel to the president would not be a far-fetched argument. Ideally, no agreement with legal and constitutional implications would be entered into without the consent of the Attorney General. How then does the president surround himself with more than 15 advisors, larger than the minimum 14-member size of cabinet allowed, to advise him on his functions? But again, some insiders confess that the litany of advisors has nothing to do with work, but more about managing the politics in a broad-based manner. But at what cost? In the budget estimates for the next financial year, 2025-2026, State House has a total expenditure plan of 5.3 billion shillings. Nearly a quarter of it, which is 1.24 billion shillings, will go to financing government advisory services. Of that, 1 billion shillings is scheduled for recurrent expenditure, meaning payment of salaries, allowances, and the operational costs. Now, when you have 22 cabinet secretaries, 57 principal secretaries, more than 15 advisors, a National Security Council to lead, political leaders to consult and host from time to time, how do you pay attention to advice? How do you know when to listen to each advisor? How do you decide which advice to use when? And by the way, the Constitution allows the president to establish new offices in the public service, only that it must be, quote, in accordance with the recommendation of the Public Service Commission, end of quote. Did the Public Service Commission recommend creation of all these advisory offices? And if the commission did it consult the public at each creation and appointment? You may recall what happened to 50 chief administrative secretaries who had been hired by the president in the year 2023. The appointments were all quashed for failing in the public participation requirement. The PSC had approved creation of 23 CS positions. The president had appointed 50. So how many presidential advisors did the Public Service Commission recommend to the president? That's my sense tonight.